Considered one of the top high school football players in the province, Doug Cook came to Western in 1940 from Runnymede Collegiate in Toronto as a recipient of the Sir Arthur Currie Scholarship. With World War II in full force, Cook had enlisted with the Perth Regiment and was commissioned as a lieutenant before coming to Western. At the time, all intercollegiate sport competition had been suspended for the duration of the war. At Western, John Metris, who had taken over as head coach, continued to operate the football program under the moniker of the COTC Mustangs. Because of travel restrictions, the originally scheduled games at Camp Borden, St. Thomas Airman, and RMC were all played in London. Freshman Doug Cook immediately became starter at left middle and was eventually moved to center in the 1940 squad. By 1941, 800 male students were walking the Western campus in khaki and blue uniforms. Cook was firmly established as a mainstay in the Mustang lineup, and the schedule included the University of Detroit B team, Kalamazoo College, Detroit Tech, Lawrence Tech, and Michigan State Teachers College. In May of 1942, Cook traded his football pads for a Sam Brown belt and the Pips insignia of the Perth Regiment. Shipped overseas, Cook would spend the next 2.5 years fighting for his country. His first taste of action was in Italy. He was promoted to captain and commanded a company of Perths in the assaults at and through the Hitler and Gothic lines. After Italy was liberated, the Perths were redeployed to Holland and helped liberate that country as well. Twice wounded in action, Doug sustained a shrapnel wound in his chest. He passed it off as just a scratch and did not know there was lead in his chest until he underwent x-rays at Western when he wanted to play football again. The second wound occurred when the Perths were cleaning out a Nazi pocket in the drive-through Holland, and exploding shrapnel tore through the upper arm and bicep, narrowly missing bone. He never regained full use of his left thumb. After suffering his last serious wound, Captain Doug Cook was sent home. Returning to Western in the fall of 1945, the Senior Intercollegiate Football League was playing an abbreviated schedule where the four schools played each other once. The Mustang squad was made up of holdovers and ex-servicemen. With interest in sport renewed, the first game against the hated rival Toronto Varsity Blues saw Toronto bring more students to the game than Western had on its campus. 2,900 fans lined up for the last 500 rush seats into the game. Doug Cook, a 25-year-old veteran with shrapnel in his chest, would not let his injuries stop him from playing in the storied game. Coach Metris said, "He waited 7 years for this game. I didn't have the heart to keep him on the bench." Cook himself said his injuries did not bother him much during the season. He played 60 minutes in most of the games, but said he could not close the fingers of his left hand. Despite that, he did not make a bad snap all season and batted down more opposition passes than any other secondary in the league. The London Free Press wrote of Cook's season, "Hitting the varsity line, the Queen's line, and the McGill line was soft stuff for such a veteran of the war, even if weighted down by shrapnel. But he will tell you there's nothing like a good war to harden a guy for a football team." Winning their 3 exhibition games, the Mustangs won 3 unofficial games to compile a perfect 6-0 record and an unofficial claim to the 1945 Gates Cup. Cook was named a CIFL All-Star and a second-team All-Eastern Canadian at center, a team that combined all-star picks from all football unions, including the professional players. Cook was then awarded the 1945 George McCullough Trophy as the Mustang MVP. In 1946, senior intercollegiate football was ready to resume to full-scale activity, which meant the first 8-game schedule was put in place since intercollegiate play was suspended back in '39. Cook was voted team captain, and the Free Press again wrote, "Captain Doug Cook is a fine team leader, one of the game's best secondary defensemen, and the type of leader who inspires his club. Cook should be the reason the forward wall stands out this year. As Cook goes, so goes the Western line. Big Doug is a team player, the type who lifts a team, and with his great heart and his many tackles, keeps them in the ballgame." Western went undefeated in league play and then defended the Yates Cup. The Western Gazette said of the 1946 team, "The Mustangs are one of the best college teams ever put together and definitely the team to beat in the conference. The boys are a wild and woolly gang, hard to beat either on the field or in the tea shop of the Hotel Statler." Cook repeated as a CIFL All-Star, and the Free Press said of his season, "Game by game, he built up a worthy reputation as one of the greatest centers ever to play college ball." In addition, Cookie played a position where the general public could not always appreciate his work. Cook, however, turned in rugged and spectacular games Saturday after Saturday. Cook graduated with a BA in business in the spring of 1947 and would continue his football career playing center for the Saskatchewan Roughriders and then snapping the ball for the Toronto Argonauts in 1948. Moving on from football, Cook became a very successful and respected businessman, eventually settling down with his family in Toronto. Keeping connected with the Mustangs, Cook sponsored a scholarship at Western for aspiring student athletes. Quarterback and roommate Herb Ballantyne said of Cook, "On defense, Doug was an outstanding middle linebacker, while on offense he snapped every ball on the mark, whether it was a running play or a kick. In my opinion, Doug was the heart and soul of those teams. He never forgot his Western roots. I don't think there was a W Club golf tournament that he missed. Doug was a devoted family man with strong religious beliefs. I don't believe there's anyone more deserving to be on the wall more than Doug Cook." Doug Cook, a Mustang legend.